When Scream 7 began and the Spyglass logo came up, I wanted to boo the Scream. They're the guys who aligned themselves with genocidal war criminals when they fired Melissa Barrera for a pretty innocuous pro-Palestine post. Jenna Ortega dropped out of the film in solidarity with her on-screen sister, which was pretty fucking badass, and the Zionist fucks at Spyglass were left with their dicks in their hands. They no longer had the two biggest box office draws of their rebooted franchise, so they did what all studios do when they get desperate: bring back the original cast. They gave Neve Campbell the payday they should have given her for Scream 6. The suits behind these movies are so fucking thick, and put Sidney back in the spotlight. And they brought in Kevin Williamson, the writer of the original film, to retool Scream 7 as a Sidney vehicle and direct it for them. I don't know what the original Scream 7 with the Carpenter sisters would have entailed, but it had to have been better than this dreck. Last week I posted a video about the Scream franchise where I declared Scream 6 a new low for the series. But Scream 7 is a new low. Scream 6 felt less like a smart, subversive Scream movie and more like a goofy, in-universe stab movie, full of gimmicks and cliches and the diminishing returns of a long-running slasher franchise. But at least it had a couple of genuinely tense sequences. Scream 7 doesn't even have that going for it.
He's dead. You need to make sure you shoot him in the head.
I'm gonna burn it all down.
Mother!
This is gonna be fun.
I usually try and keep these reviews of new films relatively spoiler-free, but all the most annoying things in Scream 7 are spoilers, so I'll have to spoil this one. Be warned. The Scream franchise has gotten bored with its own tropes. Every time something mildly surprising is about to happen in Scream 7, someone points out that it doesn't fit the pattern of previous sequels, and we get the more predictable outcome instead. Even the characters seem to be over it. They roll their eyes at every predictable twist and turn. They use the Scream sequel playbook to lay out the usual formula, then complain that it's so formulaic. Having your characters point out the laziness of the writing doesn't make the writing any less lazy. Scream 7 really leans on the franchise's legacy. It has more nostalgic callbacks than The Force Awakens. It steals the boyfriend sneaking through the window scene. It steals the red right hand needle drop when the curfew goes into effect. There are a couple of nice touches, like the fact that Sidney named her daughter Tatum after her late best friend, but the references to earlier Scream movies mostly feel like a crutch. There's a whole scene revolving around a jacket that Sidney wore in a previous film. I didn't even realize the jacket was supposed to be significant until the characters started treating it like a MacGuffin. I was intrigued when Kevin Williamson was hired to do Scream 7. With the creator of the franchise coming back after all these years, it seemed like Scream would go back to its roots. Williamson wrote the best scripts in the franchise, including the original movie, which belongs in the Screenwriting Hall of Fame. So I thought it would at least have a solid script with something new to say about where the horror genre is now compared to 1996. But there isn't a single original idea in the script. It's all just recycled sludge. And writing is his strong suit. The writing looks pretty good next to the direction. Williamson is nowhere near as adept at directing as he is at writing. The direction in Scream 7 is stale and by the numbers at its best, and shoddy and slapdash at its worst. He doesn't have the magic behind the camera that Wes Craven had. Almost no one does. Craven was a special kind of horror visionary. But at least the Radio Silence guys who did the last couple of films nailed the mix of humor and tension. Scream 7 isn't very funny or very scary. It's the worst of both worlds. There wasn't a single jump scare that got me, and the couple of times I chuckled it was barely audible. More like a corner of the mouth smirk accompanied by a nasal exhale.
No, I was making people laugh.
No.
Yes, I was watching Jim's face.
I was watching Jim.
And he was laughing.
No.
Look, he's
smile.
Look at him. He's laughing.
Scream 7 really takes the piss with what certain characters are able to survive. It doesn't matter where they've been stabbed, how many times they've been stabbed, how long they've been left on the floor bleeding out. If the plot needs them to still be alive, they're still alive. I hated the bit in Scream 6 where Chad withstands a cartoonish number of stab wounds and emerges unscathed. But that kind of bullshit happens about 20 times in Scream 7. This movie is nowhere near as clever as it thinks it is, and it doesn't earn the right to act as smug as it does. The characters take a cheap shot at the Halloween franchise for bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis for sequel after sequel, introducing the next generation and retelling her story through them. But that's all Scream 7 is. Dragging Neve Campbell back into the picture to work her box office magic, doing the same fucking story all over again with her Gen Z offspring as the new protagonist. The Halloween trilogy was pretty shit, and that whole tired Hollywood trend is ripe for satire. But I don't think you have the right to make fun of it if you're also doing it. This movie scrapes the bottom of the barrel for half-baked ideas and has the arrogance, the sheer arrogance, to look down its nose at us. When Stu Stu's obviously fake FaceTime calls turn out to be fake. The movie insults anyone who might have thought Stu would actually come back and points out how stupid that would be. Don't get too smart, Scream 7. Yes, it is stupid and desperate and contrived to bring Stu back. And guess what? That's the only idea you had for this sequel, so maybe tamp down that condescending tone. And what's even more astounding is that after mocking how ridiculous the Stu twist would have been, the actual twist is somehow even more ridiculous. It's the most disappointing Ghostface reveal yet. They set up a bunch of prime suspects, all with their own motives and dark sides, and then instead reveal that the Ghostface killers are two unassuming side characters who'd popped up for 2 minutes each up to that point. The unmasking is only effective if the story leaves a trail of breadcrumbs and all the carefully placed clues come together in a mind-blowing payoff. Scream 7's twist has the same issue that bothered me in A Simple Favor. The twist is only surprising because it comes completely out of the blue. There's no build-up, there are no hints peppered throughout the mystery. It pulls a bunch of new information out of left field and goes, surprise. It's complete fucking nonsense. When those Ghostface masks come off and you feel a rippling shockwave of meh, this film that was already holding itself together with gaffer tape completely falls apart. The red herrings are more believable than the actual explanation. The boyfriend tinkering with a Stu deepfake, the creepy neighbor kid obsessed with the Ghostface murders, the weirdly sociopathic drama teacher, and even a Stu Macker who somehow survived taking a TV to the head. All would have made more sense as the killer than the guy from the mental hospital and the soccer mom next door. The explanations of how these new Ghostface killers got to know each other and how they collaborated on the killing spree are such a stretch, you stop taking the film seriously. If you think about it even a little bit, you start to find fridge logic problems left and right. If the guy from the mental hospital is an AI whiz, but he's been an orderly for the past 16 years, that would mean he hasn't worked in AI since at least 2010. But those Stu videos are cutting edge, they put Sora 2 to shame. And if Anna Camp is the Ghostface mastermind, then why did she kill her own son and give him the most gruesome death of all? She has a throwaway line about how her son had to go because he reminded her of her abusive ex, but she mounted his skull on a beer tap. It wasn't exactly a mercy kill.
This is it.
Can't believe we're staying at the Psycho Killer B&B.
Oh, that's so cool.
Scream 7 has a pretty great opening scene, I'll give it that. Jamie Tatro is hilarious as a stab movie fan staying in Stu's house, which has been turned into a macabre tourist attraction, but it's all downhill from there. The Scream franchise has lived long enough to see itself become the villain. What started out as a sly, self-aware satire, way ahead of the curve, has become the very thing it was making fun of. A clichéd, conventional, scary movie pumped out by the commercial Hollywood machine.
Not this time.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the little bell. And also seize the day and call your mom and be kind to yourself.